Hello, good morning or good afternoon, depending on your position, your geographic position in the surface of the earth. I'm hoping you're having a great weekend. Welcome back to another edition of What's News. Today, I'm going to take you to Africa, the west coast of Africa, and the country we are going to talk about is Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire is the French name, and French is the official language in Cote d'Ivoire. English people usually say Ivory Coast, Ivory Coast. But Cote d'Ivoire has been in the news. I mean, it's been, no, not in the news per se. I'm trying to say Cote d'Ivoire has been the name that has been frequently used by both English speakers and French speakers. So, Cote d'Ivoire is a country on the west coast of Africa, surrounded from west to east by Liberia, Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Ghana. So let me say that again. Cote d'Ivoire is surrounded from west to east by Liberia, Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Ghana. It's a French speaking country, French colony, former colony. France, I'm going to say Cote d'Ivoire got its independence from France in the 1960s. So Cote d'Ivoire has been independent since the 1960s. So why am I taking you to Cote d'Ivoire today? Well, over the last 2 months, there have been major events in this country. So let me take you back to June 17, 2021. On that day, former president of Côte d'Ivoire, Monsieur Laurent Gbagbo, who has been out of the country for, let's say, 10 years, came back to Côte d'Ivoire. Why is he been out of the country for so long? Well, in 2011, there were some elections. He was up against Monsieur Alassane Ouattara. So they have an electoral disagreement, which escalated into armed conflict and let's call it civil war. So they have an electoral disagreement which escalated into armed conflict and civil war. And Mr. Alassane Ouattara, backed by France and the United Nations, kind of captured Mr. Gbagbo and kind of sent him to the ICC, the International Criminal Court in The Hague, Holland, in The Hague. So Mr. Gbagbo has been on trial for all that time. And earlier this year, he was released by the International Criminal Court, which found that all the, I'm not going to say accusation, all the things that were kind of leveled at Mr. Gbagbo were not founded. There were no evidence, no fact, no evidence, no factual evidence for him to be kind of kept in jail. So he was released earlier this year. So after he's been released, he kind of go back to Cote d'Ivoire on June 17. Well, you can have a look at the news, YouTube, and some other channels to see about let's say that day, that particular day, I can tell you that from the airport all the way to his party's headquarters, there were people on the street singing, dancing, celebrating. It was just a very, very, very memorable day. So 17th of June 2021 was a memorable day for Cote d'Ivoire due to the fact that Monsieur Laurent Gbagbo was coming back to his country after 10 years at the International Criminal Court. So Mr. Gbagbo came back to Cote d'Ivoire. He met with several leaders from his own party, from other parties, and a few days ago, on July 27th, he kind of went to the presidential palace in Abidjan to meet the sitting president, his successor, Monsieur Alassane Draman Ouattara. Officially, they haven't spoken for quite a long time. So, ever since Mr. Gbagbo got back, this was the first time that they met officially and kind of talked to each other officially. Now, whether or not they were talking over the phone or in private, I can't not confirm that. But I'm supposing that this meeting on July 27 was the fruit, okay, of previous talks, private talks, negotiations, and so on and so forth. So eventually, on the 27th of July, they met in person, face to face, at the presidential palace in Abidjan. So, is this, or let's say, was this event significant? You bet it was. Indeed, it was very, very significant because this is the culmination of a long process which has kind of cost several lives, 3,000, if not more, lives, destruction of, I would say, goods. And I mean, there was a war. Like I said previously, there was a civil war. And then you can kind of imagine the kind of destruction that a war entails in a country or anywhere else for that matter. So, yes, this meeting was a major event for several reasons. Let's say um, it was, let's say, the beginning of a kind of détente, décrispation, okay, entente cordiale, if I can call it that way, between the two men, the two parties, and of course their supporters. Okay, so this brings a new climate, a peaceful climate, a more peaceful climate in the country because the idea goes like this: if these two men have fought each other, one of them went to jail for 10 years, and now here they are talking to each other. Well, it's about time, or it's about time everybody kind of review the position and kind of went along and then embrace peace and tolerance and so on and so forth. So that was a major event, and you can check the videos also online, the news, YouTube, and so on and so forth. So you have to just put a meeting between Monsieur Laurent Gbagbo and Monsieur Alassane Ouattara, and then you have all the related videos that you can have a look. Mostly those videos are going to be in French because, like I said, official language in Cote d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast is French. So they had meeting with their supporters, a few of their supporters on that day, and they had a press conference, and they kind of agreed to have such meetings more frequently in order to consolidate these détente and these entente cordiale and these décrispation in order for their supporters, to the whole country, to turn the leaf and move on to better things and better days. Uh, Everybody's talking about reconciliation. Personally, it's a term that I find a little bit light in the sense that the reconciliation, what does that actually mean? How do you measure that? How do you measure the effects of reconciliation? I rather choose something like development, as in now that the country is peaceful, everybody is going to kind of get back to work. The authorities, the government are going to give work to each and everyone. Make sure the schools are what they're supposed to be. Make sure the hospitals are what they're supposed to be. Make sure that public transport is what it's supposed to be. And then help people achieve their potential and kind of take their country places. Yes, economic development, human development, and overall an increase of GDP. I'm not going to say that gross national product also, and so on and so forth. Kind of bring a lot more prosperity to everybody in the country. So, and Mr. Gbagbo in during the press conference uh, expressly asked the president to do everything in his power to release all the prisoners from that conflict, 2010, 2011, and any and every other civil unrest in the country from that day to, let's say, now. So he pleaded for the sitting president, his successor, to do something which can kind of, let's say, corroborate their intentions to bring maybe more peace and stability in the country. So, like I said, from 2010 to 2011, a lot of the supporters of Mr. Gbagbo are still in prison, civilians as well as military. So he pleaded that Mr. Alassane Ouattara does something, releases them, because he, let's say, logically, he himself was in jail, deported to The Hague because of those conflicts. He's been freed, he's been cleared. So logically, everybody that was in jail because of him, everybody that were in the same situation should, must be released. So he negotiated that with his successor. And so hopefully something will happen because, mind you, on June, no, on August 7th, there will be Independence Day. And usually on that day or the day before, the sitting president addresses the nation and talks about how important thing in relation to the nation, to the country. And usually, he kind of take a decree to release prisoners, common offenders, and in this case, in this situation, hopefully, he's going to kind of meet Mr. Gbagbo halfway and release all of his supporters, all these people that got arrested, trial, or not even trial, put in jail because of those elections we talked about, dating back to 2010 and 2011. So, what else can I say? It was a very relaxed atmosphere. You can see on the video that the videos that they were kind of happy to be meeting each other. That's what we see, that's what we say. Whether they were happy or not, we just go by what we see. They were kind of friendly, relaxed, and cordial. So hopefully that gonna kind of bring better days and better times for all people from Ivory Coast or all people from Côte d'Ivoire. So major events in the news of late that I wanted to share with you. So please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, and of course comment so that I can have an idea what you think, how you feel about this video and the event that I'm talking about. So thank you ever so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching and listening. And hopefully see you again in the next video. Enjoy your weekend and goodbye.